welcome to the Definitive Player Assessments for 2021-2022. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
And this is Back of the Net. Look, if you're new to the channel, we're an AFC Bournemouth YouTube channel and pod, and we cover everything to do with AFC Bournemouth as we enter the Premier League. I cannot wait, mate, but it's nice to have a break, isn't it, after a season of pain, despair, enthusiasm, enjoyment, elation. We've experienced all the emotions, haven't we?
We have indeed, and yeah, it's that I'm in between that kind of thing of, I'm missing football, and then watching like the playoffs and a penalty shootout and thinking, I'm so glad we're not in that. So glad we're not in that. But yeah, been in the Championship a couple of times, got promoted, and neither time we've had to worry about them playoffs, which is, I think we should never take that for granted because they look nervy. So yeah, delighted, mate. Great season.
They absolutely do. So if you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, but also give this video a like as well. And look, if you appreciate what you've watched as well, why not share it on your socials? We would really appreciate it. Where are we today? Sat in the sun, Tom?
We've decided to pop to the Pear for a change, haven't we?
It's beautiful here.
This is the perfect day for it as well. It's absolutely gorgeous out, mate. I'm sweating.
We are colour coordinated yet again, mate. I'm absolutely loving
I even
this.
bought my shades today. Look at these little Gallaghers.
Oh, wonderful. Mate, they're nice.
Oh, yeah. That's how, normally for festivals, but I thought I'd check it out for the Pear today. Yeah, lovely weather, mate. Lovely post-season weather.
So, why is this called the Definitive Player Assessment Show? It's because we're going to be looking at 5 different factors for each player that performed for Bournemouth in the league this season. So, we're going to look back at our halfway rating, because you may recall we did a show halfway through the season. If you want to watch it again, if you do want to, the card's at the top of the screen. And we're going to look at whereabouts Tom put it in the tier list. We're going to be using exactly the same tiers. So after our discussion on said player, we're going to see where they go next. Have they gone up? Have they gone down? Or have they stayed the same? We'll also find out the moment of the season from each player. And look, there have been so many incredible moments, whether it's been last minute goals, tackles, amazing saves, loads of stuff like that, and also things off the pitch as well that we might want to comment on too. Plus, what next for them? Are they an essential player? Should we keep them? One for the squad? Or maybe we should keep but loan them out? Potentially their future at Bournemouth's up in the air, or maybe it's time for them to move on, or they could be gone already. Loads to discuss. And we're going to do it like we did last time in alphabetical order. So we'll run through, but then we'll add our new signings, i.e. everyone from January onwards, at the end, mate. Okay. So firstly, we'll start with a familiar face, by the way, of Adam Smith. Now, I've got the tier list in front of you, mate. Whereabouts do you think you put him in our halfway assessment?
I'm not sure, because it feels like he played more in the second half.
It did,
because he had some injuries, yeah. So I don't know if I've maybe gone hard to judge because of that, but I feel like he probably played enough for me to maybe go solid shift. I'm not sure where I put him, mate. Honestly, don't know.
Go on, call it.
Solid shift.
You're right.
Okay.
He was in solid shift. That's the first one you got right, mate. This is like challenge Tom today. You love it. But since then, mate, I've got to say I was really impressed, and I think, in my opinion, he should be moved up. But there's plenty of reasons why, aren't there? Because his experience really told, didn't it?
Yeah, I think at the start of the season we obviously had Kale at centre half for a lot of it, and we had that experience. We could play, whether it was Stacey or whoever at right back. I feel like once Kale come out of the team, and we obviously brought in Nat Phillips, then we had a spell where I felt like we've got a really young back four there. And then Smithy come back in, and I always think it goes underrated in the sense that every manager we've had, mate, if Smith's fit, he plays. He plays every time he's fit, and I thought his experience was, and his know-how of getting out of division was essential, really. And I thought he was really consistent when he come in. And goes overlooked sometimes, in my opinion. I thought he was top drawer that second half of the season when we needed him to be.
Okay then, mate. So, in terms of where we're going to put him on the full player grading for the whole of the season, where's he going to go?
Baller. He's going up one for me, definitely. Deserves that. yeah, as I say, I think sometimes people go, oh, Smithy was all right, but I think when you look at it, I haven't looked at all the stats and stuff, but I think we're better with Adam Smith in our team.
I think for certain players, it's very easy to have a moment of the season, and usually that's someone who puts the ball between the sticks. But can you think of a moment for Adam Smith that really shone as being one of his highlights? I mean, he's one of those players that just puts in such an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 shift in every single game that there may be not one standout moment for him.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think I'm probably just going to categorise it as the run-in. So that run-in of probably some of them away games, and then near the end of the season, the Fulham game, the Forest game. And when we needed players to stand up, I thought he was just exceptional. He was absolutely brilliant. And he had some really tough wingers against him in some of them games, and I never felt it looked like that. So I'm just going to go, not a real particular moment. I'm just going to go, when he come back for the run-in, Adam Smith, that was his moment. He come into his own and helped them young players through it.
Absolutely. So you've got a list in front of you, mate, on what next. So we've got one of 5 categories here. This is interesting, actually. Even this is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Squad player, or is he an essential player?
He's one of two, isn't he? He's keep. So he's essentially keep for me. So I'm like, he's got to keep, essential player, which puts him in that top category. But then equally I go, but he might end up through the season because of his age and depending who we bring in that position, being more of a squad player. Because of his age and etc. etc. But essential, we got to keep him. So I'm happy to put it in that category because the first word I think of Adam Smith is it's essential we keep him.
Next, Ben Pearson, someone that didn't have as many minutes as I suspect he wanted. Where do you think he went halfway?
Maybe room for improvement.
Have you been revising
I genuinely
this?
haven't.
You're
Genuinely
right.
haven't. Yeah.
He was in room for improvement, but I mean, since then he didn't get many minutes, and it only seemed to be to shore up a lead or a draw where we didn't want to lose the game. He's one of these players that I can't remember him starting that often.
No, it's a difficult one for Pear because I think you want to say, he hasn't done as well as I expected at the start of the season, which is probably why I put him in there to begin with. But then equally, has he been given many opportunities? Probably not. I saw a good article with him actually, and he was kind of saying, he was quite honest about it and saying, look at Lewis Cook, he's been unbelievable. So I'm not surprised I'm not getting in. And I thought fair play, but there were opportunities especially when Lerma got a ban, Cook had an injury where he did come in and he never let us down. But there were games where I thought he didn't grab the shirt and go, you can't drop me. Yeah. So I am gonna, just to jump ahead here, I am gonna keep him in that category.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's fair. And he hasn't let us down, but I think from his perspective, he'll be going, I'm happy, but I probably could have grabbed that shirt when I had the chance.
Have you got a moment of the season for him? Because I have. And I wonder if it tallies. Go on.
Mine's QPR away. Yeah.
I love that from him.
Did he come on in stoppage time or just before stoppage time?
At the very end of the game.
Got booked, came on, just battered people when we were 1-0, and that was a big win. I mean, both QPR games actually I thought were really big wins, and away from home when we needed it, and he just come on the pitch and done exactly, you would have gone, Pearson, come on the pitch, be everywhere, be nasty, and just wind the clock down, and he was absolutely perfect at that. So yeah, QPR away for me.
What next for him?
Interesting one, but for me, I think he actually said it in this article I'm talking about when he spoke recently.
He's not going to be loaned out.
No, he would either leave permanently or stay. But for me, he's going to be more vital coming off the bench in the Prem than he would in the Champ.
Okay.
Because if we've ever got a lead in the Premier League, we know these are going to be gold dust, these points. We're going to be scrapping. He is ideal to bring on, isn't he?
Yeah.
As we just mentioned with that QPR game. So for me, you've got to keep him for the squad. Got to keep him. He's not old. Got to keep him for the squad. He's also one of them players he come through the United ranks, but then he's played in the lower leagues. This is his opportunity, and I think he'll want to grasp it. And he's one that I think the way he plays, his attitude, I like him. I'd love him coming off the bench. So yeah, one for the squad for me.
Another player that's probably one of those that's not had as many minutes as they would have hoped is Chris Mepham. Again, like Ben Pearson, always seems to be a player that just comes on to keep the lead. Where do you think you put him?
See, I think this would have either been hard to judge or solid shift, because I don't think he ever let us down.
It wasn't hard to judge.
So was it solid shift?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Because at the start of the season, he played a lot more. We didn't have obviously Nat Phillips then, but right at the start, he was playing all the time, wasn't he? Before Cahill come in with Kelly, even played with Ibsen Rossi, and I think it was also the factor that he played at left back, at right back.
Yeah.
And I feel for him because I
really feel for him.
He just comes on and never lets us down.
He would get into the defences of a lot of Championship sides.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you're a team that maybe you always say that when teams go up, you look at the teams that have gone down to maybe get any players. I think it's the same when a team goes up from the Championship. Them kind of mid-table Championship teams go, so anyone we can take that won't get in the team now? I think Mepham will be looked at. I think he's only got a year left, so we either cash in now a little bit, or we might run his contract down. But this is one of them. I think it all depends on Meps' mindset. Whether it's on him. I don't think we desperately want him to go. I think we go, if you want to stay, mate, and be a good member of the squad.
And he's got Premier League experience.
Yeah, and you want to be a member of the squad that when we need you, you come in, then happy days. But if you're desperate to play football, you ain't going to start. You ain't going to start, and you'll struggle to get on the bench some weeks, potentially.
So what's he going to do then? What do you think? I mean, I suppose it's what we want versus what he... But we've got to do what we would do, I suppose.
I'm going to go up in the air.
Up in the air, yeah.
Up in the air for me, because he's still young, but the factor for me why I think he probably will move on is the World Cup. If Wales get in the World Cup, obviously they've still got to qualify against Scotland or Ukraine. He's got into the most recent squad for them, so he's going to know that he's going to need to get in the team. He's going to have to be playing regularly. So if that's on his mind, then he's going to have to leave, and he'd go to the Championship. I'm not being funny, Wales, no disrespect, but a good Championship player will probably get in their World Cup team. So yeah, he could play every week in the Championship. I'm looking at teams like a QPR, or a Blackburn, a team that are kind of hovering. They try to get up. Mepham would be a great signing for him. So I'm up in the air, but it wouldn't shock me if he left.
Okay, and yeah, we're going to keep him in solid shift as well. I think he's
moment of the season. Birmingham away, he played at right back.
Yeah, and that was when Leif Davis was
right
playing
midfield. So he had a left back playing in front of him, and he was playing out of position, and he was just solid as anything. We kept the clean sheet. He come in when he needed to and covered round well. He tried his best to get forward, which is alien to him. Yeah. And for me, that just stands out in my mind. That I thought fair play to him. He's a proper team player.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, next we've got David Brooks as well, and we're going to cut to the chase. This one was hard to judge because of the inevitable. Played a few games this season. At the start, remember against Forest, he scored, he got sent off, but obviously came that devastating news about the Hodgkin's lymphoma, which we're glad to say that he's now clear from it, and it was nice to see him at the end of the season. And I'm going to say my moment of the season is an off the pitch one, mate, and I'm going to go straight in with this, is that against Nottingham Forest, the David Brooks chant, and when AFCB TV, fair play to whoever captured it, but saw the look on, and it was quite emotional, and there were fans looking at him. It's one of those things you don't sort of quite know what to do. Do you join in with your own song? So, sort of akin to when Eddie had that choir stood around him.
I remember there being talk, I don't know if it was the new supporters group, I think they mentioned it about, or maybe it was Cherries Trust that kind of said about, can we put him on the screen when we do the 7 minutes? And they replied, said he's quite a private person, he doesn't really want that. And I think you saw that in that moment, that it almost felt like overwhelmed, like he didn't know what to do, and it was really kind of goosebumps. I'm actually getting a little bit of goosebumps thinking about it. So and I quite like just a little moment for like a picture or a little clip was Kiefer Moore with the Man of the Match award, and then like hugging Brooksy, who's obviously his national teammate as well. And it was kind of like a thing of, I've just joined the club, fellow Welshman, I've done that for you, mate. And it was lovely, and obviously hard to judge in terms of the football pitch, but excited to see him. But that first game in back, maybe it'd be a cup game, and it'll be amazing. Maybe even if it's like I think the club, we don't know, is obviously what's gonna happen in terms of his physical and mental kind of strength for the moment. It's going to take a lot for him to get back on that football pitch, but if they can get him into like an under-23 game, imagine the crowd. Oh my God. And he'll love it, and I can't wait to see him back on the pitch, mate.
So what player, what's going to happen next?
Well, you keep him, don't you? Yeah. You keep him. Probably at the moment, you're going to have to say one for the squad.
But when he's fit, when he's mentally ready, he'll be an essential player.
Yeah, let's see what happens. It's going to take a lot for him, I think, to get up to speed, fitness-wise and stuff like that. I'm sure fatigue will still be affected with what he's gone through. So, be a long process, but we'll be behind him, and he'll stay with us, I'm sure. Okay, next, Dominic Solanke. Halfway through the season, I can imagine you might get this right in terms of what category we put him in. I'm hoping I put him absolute Don. Yeah, you did put him in absolute Don. He ain't moving, by the way. What a season he's had for AFC Bournemouth. 30 goals, one of the hardest working players at the club. He's not just a goal poacher. He's, like recently we were having discussions about him versus Mitrovic, and I know that Mitrovic's stats are ridiculously good, but he's asked to do a hell of a lot more than just stand there and put the ball in the back of the net, and that's why Scott Parker alluded to the fact that he wouldn't have anyone else other than Dom Solanke, and in some ways you could say that he's more of a complete striker forward player than Callum. Yeah, no, I probably agree with that, although I watched Callum's comeback game against Arsenal and thought he was sensational, by the way.
Yeah.
In terms of the Mitrovic debate, I think Mitrovic is the perfect player for Fulham. Dom Solanke is the perfect player for Bournemouth. Neither would switch because of the way the teams play.
Yeah.
If you've got Harry Wilson, whipping balls in the box to you want Mitrovic. If you've got younger players like Christie and Anthony doing a lot of doggy work and you need someone to drop in a bit deeper, you want Dom Solanke. But what a season, mate. A lot of people said, we're kind of thinking, is he a 20-goal-a-season striker? Well, no, he's not. He's a 30-goal-a-season striker.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable, still young. I think he'll be so hungry to prove himself in the Premier League. Apart from Ibe, the one they always mention when they talk about signings of Bournemouth and Eddie Howe is, they spent this much on Dom Solanke, he's worth more than that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, it might be a little bit biased, but a little bit of a tip. If we start the season well, he's going to the World Cup. If we start the season well and he's doing all right, is there that many great backups to Harry Kane out there? I know Tammy Abraham, but he's playing in Italy, so remains to be seen. Calvert-Lewin, Ivan Toney, Callum Wilson, I wouldn't swap any of them for Dom Solanke. And he's worked with Southgate before with the youngsters, so we'll know him. So just a little, he's got to start the season well.
Yeah, he's got, wow.
I love him, mate, I love him.
So, look, we're not going to move him anywhere else other than the absolute Don. So your moment of the season for him, I mean, there are so many.
There's so many, so I'm going on what's just sprung to my head.
Yeah.
And it's quite recent. It's the Fulham penalty.
Yeah.
And I think he scores goals all the time, so you could go on any goal.
Yeah.
But the Fulham penalty for me was a moment of mental strength that I wasn't sure about with Dom. He's had bad runs without goals before. He's always been in patches.
And
he just missed one.
At Blackpool.
I say just, but his last penalty one that he missed. It's in stoppage time.
And then there was a wait for so long.
Wait
2
for
or
so
3
long.
minutes after Silva was sent off.
The point was massive against top of the league.
And that's the first time he sort of used this new technique or whatever as well.
And I just thought,
ballsy.
he's on it, he's confident, proper centre forward, didn't buckle. So that's the moment that sticks out for me. But you can name a lot for Dom, even Fulham in the reverse fixture with that the kick-off routine, the way he finished that. So, but there's loads, But that's my moment.
Okay, excellent stuff. And look, I don't think we need to worry about wondering.
No, we've got to send him out on loan.
He is an essential player for us, of course. Okay, next then, we're going to move on to Emiliano Marcondes. This one, I'm just looking now where you put him. Okay.
He definitely played a lot more at the start.
Yeah, he did. Well, he scored in our first game of the season.
Yeah, and he played quite a lot at the start. So I reckon I put him in solid shift.
You did put him in
I'm nailing
solid.
this.
My God.
It's going to look like I actually know.
Yeah.
I need to get a few wrong, but I will get a few wrong. But second half of the season, he didn't feature much.
No, he didn't, did he? Look, I'm going to ask you what your moment was now, because arguably it could be first game of the season. It could be the moment where he runs out naked and swings his top around on the vlog. It could be his hat-trick Yeovil. It could be his involvement in Siriki Dembele's last-minute goal at Blackpool, where he shifts the ball on really quick. It's a tricky moment for me, but maybe not for you.
Yeah, tricky. I thought the Oval game, but I thought it's Cup. I'm going to try and stick to the league, but that was a great moment that he got the hat-trick. And like you say, more off-the-pitch stuff. He seems like a great character, but I was hoping you didn't mention it, because I thought, but you did. I think the impact of Blackpool really goes unnoticed. We were there in the crowd. It looked like we weren't going to get anything, and obviously Dembele got the goal, etc., but if you were at that game in particular, you're watching that game, it's filtering out into a defeat. He just comes on and sparks something. He moves the ball quicker. They don't know where he is. The way he was picking up positions, and I thought he's got a part. It was before that game. I thought he's just going to drift off, never going to see him again. And after that game, I thought he's got a part to play.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for that actually. But a lot of off the field stuff. But he's a real weird one, Marcondes, because he's barely played in the second half of the season.
I mean, in terms of the category that he's in now, we're going to leave him in solid shift, are we? He's not going to go baller, is he?
No, but then I'm thinking on the pitch, is it similar to Pearson? That he didn't grab the shirt enough when he did play at the start of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is when he played, he was always good, but did he do enough to go, Billing ain't getting back in? I don't think he did.
Okay, so
off the pitch, I love him, but I'm actually,
but then he found it hard to dislodge a number of midfielders that were incredibly good, and when you've got the option of playing Phil, Bill, Lerma and Cook or whoever, even put Pearson in that mix as well, Christie bringing him inside, then you wouldn't put Emilio Marcondes. But when he did play, I suppose,
never let us down.
He never really let us down.
But did Pearson let us down? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
I'm just looking at Pearson one and going, neither of these two players let us down, but did they do enough to grab the shirt? And that's just personal to them. I agree. Pearson's never going to get in over Lerma or Lewis Cook. Marcondes never going to get in over Billing. But that's up to them to prove themselves. I don't think he quite did. I love Marcondes, but I think we've got to be fair. I'm going to move him down one because he would have wanted to play more football for his first season.
Okay, so, right, what we can do with him next?
This is really tricky. I was speaking to you just beforehand and kind of saying about if you're a championship club now and you're looking at players to bring in, you'd be going, Emi Marcondes, clearly a good footballer. He's been promoted from the Championship 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
That sort of thing in the dressing room in particular is massive. If you've got a young squad, you've got a player that's been there and done it 2 consecutive seasons. I said to you, I remember Di Matteo signing Elphick for Villa.
Yeah.
Straight away going, this bloke's won the Championship before. You need that know-how. I like him in and around the dressing room. He's not young enough to just get a loan, in my opinion. Probably is a bit up in the air. Ooh. I'm going to stick with up in the air. I think it's similar to the matter. I'm going to stick to up in the air.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, really interesting one. But I mean, you know, like you say, the experience he can offer clubs that are looking to get promoted.
I think I would say time to move on if I didn't feel he was kind of happy to be just a squad player. He seems like he's happy to just fit in when needed. So that's why I think it's a bit more up in the air because I don't think he's desperate to go and play.
No, yeah, I agree. All right then, so that's Marcondes. Next then we're going to move on to Gary Cahill. And whereabouts do you think you put him?
I'd probably put him baller.
You did, because at that time he was a baller. But since the player grading show we did then, he's barely featured, or has he featured at all? I don't know. I'm not even sure he has.
I'm not sure. But it was his last game, Barnsley, when he got sent off, funnily enough. I feel like that was his last game. I can't remember when that was.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah.
But I can't remember if we'd done this before or after.
Rumours that if he played a certain number of games, we would have been obliged to sign him.
For another year. Or
for another year, extend his contract.
Yeah, I remember we've had that before. I remember when we had Wada Turbe on loan.
Yeah.
And people go, why aren't we just giving him a run out? Well, then we would have had to pay him more.
Yeah.
Or we would have had an obligation.
I didn't even realise those kind of things are written into contracts.
So, interesting one. But I thought, it's 2 halves of the season for Kale, isn't it? Unbelievable first half of the season. He's been massive in our promotion. I think it's another one in the dressing room. Would have been big for the group. I mean,
as a result, do you downgrade him to?
I think you've got to downgrade to solid shift
because by default he's only played. Yeah.
But so we're going to downgrade him one, but we can't go any lower than solid shift because he was essential at the start of the season. So really glad we brought him in. I think it was a no-brainer. I think he's been really key, but maybe his legs gave way a little bit. I think there was a few games before. I think it was Millwall away in that, and I think Afobe done him for pace. I think at Bury struggled. And I thought, actually, maybe physically he's not after doing a full season here. And that's why we brought Nat Phillips in the end. But yeah, he's still been a good signing and done his job for the season.
Have you got a moment of the season for him then, in particular?
Moment of the season.
One of the moments of the season that I remember that's not a good thing is at Millwall, where someone played a ball through and he almost ducked and then let Afobe in. But, you know, let's be clear, he did more better than bad things. But that's just one of my last playing memories I had. But I don't know, there's no defining memory, really, just apart from his general organisation and orchestration of the AFC Bournemouth defence.
I think that kind of a moment of the season for me, or not a moment of the season, but a bit like what I said with Smithy, like a package thing, would be, I feel that he's made players like Lloyd Kelly, Jordan Zamora, who's part of that back four, better footballers because of having Gary Cahill around. And I think that's kind of my moment. I think we're seeing better. I think Lloyd Kelly has become a better footballer because of Gary Cahill. A better leader. I think we saw it near the end of the season. We were all talking about Kelly, or is he a leader? I think Cahill being next to him would only have helped Lloyd Kelly in particular. So I'm just going to go his experience and his know-how as a kind of moment in general. Yeah. Okay. And then he's going.
Probably time to move on.
Yeah, he's probably.
And what do you think he will do next? What do you think? Is he got a couple of years left in him, or do you think he's going to hang up his boots anytime soon, or what?
Just me thinking about it without knowing anything, I think he's going to retire, just because I feel like, as I previously mentioned, that his legs maybe were going and physically it was catching up with him a little bit. So I think maybe now we're looking to coach him potentially. But if he wanted to, if he was desperate to still have another season, a Championship club would still take him, in my opinion, depending on wages, etc., etc. But yeah, I think he may retire, and if he wants to get the coaching of that, I feel like he could maybe stick with us. He might go back to Chelsea. There's loads.
Right.
He's got legs for a few clubs, hasn't he? But whatever happens to KO, I'll be watching, and really pleased that and even if it was only half a season, really, I think he'll always go down well respected from Bournemouth fans.
All right, Gav Kilkenny, player that, a player that started the season really well for Bournemouth and played a lot of games and was one of the people that we didn't want to have to rely on, but when we did rely on him, we thought, oh my God, he's good. He's really good. He's undroppable. But then players come back, and since sort of Lewis Cook's been back, and there's no way back for him really. However, did play in the last game of the season, which was nice to see. Parker obviously trusts the lad, and he seems to have. He's not one of these players that will sulk and throw his toys out the pram. He'll work hard, and when Parker's called on him, he's always delivered. And even during some of our poorer performances, I remember Middlesbrough away, there weren't many high points from that at all. Travers was keeping us in the game, but one of the only outfield players to be any good for us was Gav Kilkenny.
Yeah, he was unplayable that day. And you're thinking, when you're having a bad game, everyone was really poor. For the young Gavin Kilkenny to be the one that steps up and goes...
Oh, yeah.
I do love him. I do really love him. Where would I have put him?
Where would you have put him, Tom? I know the answer.
I'm going solid shift.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Have you
I genuinely haven't. I promise. I haven't. I feel like I'm surely going to get some wrong.
You've got such a photographic memory. Whereabouts would you put him now? Or, I mean...
I'm keeping him in there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you can do the half-season downgrade, can you? Because
no. And I think the
absolutely.
difference here with... So Gav Kilkenny, Ben Pearson, Emmy Marcondes all started the season more... Well, actually not Pearson as much, but Marcondes and Kilkenny. But the reason I put Pearson and Marcondes down into room for improvement, or into that category, was that I feel like they would have wanted to play more. Kilkenny, I think, will be happy with how much he contributed. Yeah. Hence the solid shift. So, but yeah, I've been really happy with Gav, mate. I do really like him. I do really, really like him.
Have you got a moment of the season for him?
Yeah, I have actually. I nearly went to the Middlesbrough one, which you just mentioned, because I thought you were brilliant. I'm actually weirdly going to go for the last game of the season, because he started the season for us, and everyone thought, well, when Lewis Cook's back, when Lerma's back, he's going to filter out. But he's done a good job. Fair play. See you later. The last game of the season, he played instead of Jefferson Lerma. Because, obviously with nothing on the game, Lerma got a knock. And he come into the team and I thought, he's unbelievable. Like, it's no different. I mean, we play with Lerma, Kilkenny's come in, and you wouldn't know.
No.
And I thought, Jesus. And then when we were trying to win the game or making changes, I think Marcondes, come on, couldn't take Kilkenny off because he's one of the best players on the pitch again. And every time he plays, I think, will he be caught out? He's always one of the best players on the pitch, in my opinion. Yeah. And I just love how brave he is, that he goes, give me the ball, I'll get on the ball, I'll try and make that pass. If I lose it, I lose it. And he will lose it playing that way. But that last game of the season, to me, proved that, God, he is a good player, isn't he?
One of the moments for me, and we won't be able to show this because it's EFL footage, but I think it might have been the first game of the season where he had the ball in the middle of the park and then he twisted, he turned, he knocked it over someone's head, he got the ball again, and he laid it out wide. And I think AFCB TV might have clipped it up and put it on Twitter, like baller or something like that. I just thought that was a really nice moment, and it just it signalled what was to come for him. But I do agree with that last match. You wouldn't feel like we had a downgraded midfield because of his inclusion. So I'm happy to go along with that. But in terms of what we do with him next, mate, this is real tough, and I've got a feeling he might not be here, but he will be here.
Yeah, I think what's weird is if we didn't get promoted, I think I'd even put him in essential, because I feel like Lerma would potentially go, Lewis might have been looked at, and I feel like we'd have to go, right, Kilkenny, you're going to be our main man now. Because we've gone up, we cannot get rid of this guy because he's too much of a talent. The ceiling's too high, but he needs to play football. He can't be playing down the 23s. He can't.
Absolutely not.
So, and weirdly, you'd rather in a game Pearson coming on in the Premier League than a Kilkenny. So for me, he's got to go out on loan. We've got to keep him, but he's got to play football. So for me, on loan, Championship.
And are we talking like, a team that's like pushing, like say Sheffield United next season, or?
I think we've got to look at a team, if we can pick and choose a little bit, is look at a team that play football that
similar way.
So I'm looking at a Swansea.
Or like a Coventry.
Swansea, Coventry, them sort of teams that play from the back, give it to a deep line playmaker, and then Kilkenny could be that one. But he needs to go somewhere where he's being told he's a starter, and it's his place to lose. But a Swansea, Coventry are two that kind of come to mind. QPR, depending who their new manager is and how they go about playing. But yeah, hopefully he gets Championship. If he goes to a top of League One side, to be fair, and plays every week, that wouldn't be a bad thing either.
All right, Jack Stacey next. Where do you think you put him at the start of the season, mate? Let's see where he was. I've found out where he was. If you get it right, mate, there's something fishy going on.
He played more. He's going to be in one of two. I know he's either solid shift or room for improvement. What was he like? I'll go solid shift.
Sorry?
Oh, did I get it wrong? Solid shift. Did I go room for improvement? I knew it'd be tight between them.
And you know what? Based on when we've seen him, I mean, we've seen him very infrequently since then, if at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be changing that.
No, I ain't changing that at all. He hasn't been bad enough to be come on, really, has he? But he would have wanted to play more minutes. I think it's one of them things. Did he grab the shirt? When he got so many opportunities because Smith was out for a while, and then Ethan Laird wasn't introduced straight away. And I mean, he was struggling to get on the squad once them two were available. And I think it's the same with previous managers. When Smith's available, they all know he's more reliable than Stacey. I remember the Derby game away from home. He's a little bit erratic, but I tell you what, his energy's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah, room for improvement. It's a shame because I think he's quite reliable, actually. Like, you always think, you're never like, oh my God, we've got Stacey at right back. But how many seasons are we going to have now where we go, he's still not as good as Smith, is he? You think, oh, he's better than Smith, and then Smith comes in and you go, oh no, he's not actually.
There was one game, in terms of moment of the season, I can't remember what game it was.
I think I know.
With Luton? Was it Luton?
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking there was a moment where he made it was against Luton, where he made a ridiculously good run.
Oh, the Marcondes header?
Yeah.
I was having 3 beers.
He's having
but
3
I know
beers,
what you mean.
He got the ball deep and just ran forward through 2 or 3 players, ran to the byline, and then chipped the ball over for Marcondes' header. But then equally there were moments not so good, like Coventry at home, where he was the one that played the ball back to the central defensive player Lerma at the time, who got sent off as a result. But that was one of the moments for me. Was that for you?
Yeah, I agree, and I think, just to put out there, I think Stacey is a brilliant right back. He's not a Scott Parker right back. No. In my opinion, I think Parker likes Smith and Zamora. Yeah. Narrow the pitch sometimes. They're a little bit more, get involved, link up, whereas Stacey is just bombed down that right hand side. I think Leif Davis is the same on the other side. I am going for my moment, actually, Swansea at home. Okay. So that was our best win of the season, 4-0. It was our best win of the season, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
We were in the old hospitality. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Him and Leif Davis.
Yeah.
When we changed the system, them two went as wing backs, changed the game. And Stacey was relentless throughout. So that's probably my moment of the season, but also off the pitch. We've just heard about what
hope for food and all that.
The work he's done off the pitch, incredible. So big up Stacey for that. And it's one of them. I just feel he's coming to a team where he probably thought he could get in the team. And it's probably not his fault that Smith's so reliable when he comes back in. But I like Jack Stacey. I do like him.
Yeah. Okay, mate. So, in terms of what we do next with him,
I think that's the first category I'm going to go. Probably time to move on. He's only got a year left, which I think is key. But
he wasn't bad for us in the Premier League.
He wasn't bad for us in the Premier League. I feel like what I mentioned there with, I don't think he's a Parker type fullback.
Right.
And I just think for him, at his age, if he wants to really kick on, because I think there's a high ceiling there with Jack Stacey, I think he's a good player. I think he goes and plays in the Championship. It might be one you loan in case we go down. It might be up in the air, but I'm going to just go with it and go, I think...
Is he not one for the squad now?
I probably think, maybe he is. He's only got a year left.
I suppose it depends on like Ethan Laird or whatever.
Of course. It's all lift-ups and maybes, but I think for him, he's only got a year left. Is he going to want to desperately sign that deal to be a squad player? I probably don't think so. I think he's a player that wants to go and play. I think there's teams that we've just seen like Luton, where he's got a previous affiliation to. He'd be brilliant for them. Yeah. I think he'd probably get in 90% of the Championship teams at right back. So for me, I think for him, he should move on and play football. Whether I want him to, I'm not plussed. I'll be well happy with him in the squad. But I think it's probably time to move on for him.
There you go. Right, next then, mate. Jayden Anthony. Whereabouts do you think you put him at the start of the season?
Baller.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Solid shift?
Yeah.
That's annoyed me.
Does that surprise?
Surprised me a little bit, but I think maybe at the start of the season it was more output. He was putting a shift in, but maybe he had a few games, didn't he, where you still saw that rawness in him. He's going up. He's going up category, 100%.
To Baller?
Yeah. Baller. The start of the season, I haven't got the numbers off the top of my head, mate, but the start of the season, if you had said Jay Nantley would get the goals and assists that he's got, you'd have gone, shut up. No chance. He's been unbelievable. And he's replaced Dan Juma, remember?
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable. He does the backward stuff, unbelievably well. Works so hard for the fullback. He's shown that he can score goals. He's shown that he can assist goals. He's shown that he can beat a man. He can graft all day long for you. You want to put him on the right? Go on then, I'll do a job there. You're going to put me at wing back? Yeah, I'll do a job there if you need me to.
I love him. I absolutely love the guy.
So good.
And he's still so raw as well. And he's learning, and you see that he's learning and improving almost game by game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is, sometimes you see a very slow, progression, but he's young, he's malleable, and the fact that, and he's another one that absolutely is buying into like Scott Parker's way as well.
And Parker would have loved that. He's been able to mould him. This is his first season. He's been able to mould him into the player that Parker wants. At
the start of the season,
he's a Parker player.
Before Parker came in, he probably didn't think he was going to be anywhere near the first team.
And I bet he was kind of like it seemed to me when I saw him in the odd pre-season that he was like a flair player, quite tricky.
Yeah.
But remember like Dobre and players like that we used to have? I thought, he's not really going to get it.
Who was player of the season,
I saw that.
For
big up Alex Dobre.
Yeah.
Only Romanian we've ever had at the club, I believe. But yeah, I think what Parker's done is mould him, and I think Parker would have thought, I'll play him at the start until we get a few bodies in, and then he'll probably drift out.
Yeah.
And he's gone, I can't drop him. He just does the job perfectly. Love Jay Nantley. Big up Jade.
Have you got a moment of the season for him?
Yeah, the first one that comes to my head is his first goal, Birmingham away.
Yeah, I like that as well. Yeah. Really
what a
good
moment. I mean, it was quite early in the season to be fair, but his first ever professional goal for AFC Bournemouth. The emotions, everyone come over. It was a nice corner routine actually, wasn't it? I think the assist was Ibsen Rossi.
It was,
which is even more sweeter. They both come through the ranks and stuff like that. But I just remember being so happy that it was Jaden that scored, because it was that start of the season, and he probably thought, I'm doing all right here, but can I have that output? Can I get the numbers? And he showed that. So that was a really big moment for me, mate. I'm going to go for Birmingham away.
Right. Okay. Well, what are we going to do with him? Keep, of course.
Keep 100%.
Essential player. He's almost between essential player and one for the squad, isn't he? But I think he's probably more of an essential player.
He probably is. I think it's a big step up. I think it's very
huge.
I'll tell you what it's similar to in a weird way, because they're opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of experience and age. But when we went up from the Championship before, we had Mark Pugh on the left, and you thought, well, he's obviously essential to keep, but you thought, will he start every week? Maybe not. And I feel like we'll get someone in that position that will compete with him a bit. Yeah. But so in between them two categories, mate, I'd say.
Okay, next then, Jamal Lowe.
Oh, where would I put him?
Jamal Lowe. Let's see where you put him.
Where did I put him? You got it?
Yeah, I've got it.
Solid shift?
No.
Room for improvement?
Yeah.
Damn it. He's going up one.
Yeah, okay, so right, there's a few players that have gone up here. Not many have gone down, but all right, okay, so room for improvement, to solid shift. Now I'm thinking, how did you put him in room for improvement? And why was that at the time, do you think?
I think at the time, obviously, you've got to remember, someone will come on to later, we didn't have Kiefer Moore.
Yeah.
There was a few players we didn't really have, and he didn't nail down a place. And he could play off the left. He probably would have thought, I'm getting over Jane Nantley, a young player. Yeah. And he didn't. And when he started games, I thought, I'm not sure about him. Since then, crucial goals. He was £1.5 million. The goals he scored, just coming off the bench, put a shift in. He's been brilliant in that sense. I always preferred him when he was coming off the bench, which is probably it's weird for him, but he probably think, God, I performed well off the bench again. As a bad scored at Stoke late, he come on against Blackpool and scored. He just comes.
At home against Stoke. Yeah, I remember.
Last minute.
So I mean, have you got a standout moment?
Yeah, it's probably not just for him. It was the Brook shirt. Bristol City away. Yeah.
And that's the first time was that the first time he scored this season?
It was his first start.
Yeah, it was. And
played off the right.
That's mine as well. That's mine as well.
It's one of the photos of the season, and he got the goal. And like you say, obviously it's all about the Brooksy moment in the shirt, but equally, if you look into it a bit deeper, you go, oh, that's Jamal Lowe's first goal in his first start. So but I really love Jamal Lowe, and every time he starts, I think, come on, get that place. And he doesn't quite do it when he starts, but off the bench, mate, without Jamal Lowe, I don't know the stat. I think he's got us a lot of points. Yeah. Whether that's just scoring or just coming on and making an impact. Yeah, love him off the bench, mate, and great song.
Yeah, superb song. And in terms of what to do with him?
One for the squad.
Yeah.
Keep one for the squad for me. Do the same sort of role. It might be even, he might have less chances now, being in the Premier League, but I think he's one of them players that whatever level, you bring him off the bench, 10 minutes to go, he might nick you a goal.
Yeah.
So, key for the squad.
Oh, Jefferson Lerma. Dare I ask? I mean...
I don't know where I'd put him, though, because he had 6-game ban.
He did have a 6-game ban, yeah.
So was he in solid shift? I'm not sure. Do you know where I put him?
Yeah, I know where you put him.
I'm going to say I put him in solid shift.
No.
Did I put him in baller?
Yeah.
That's sick. A 6-game ban. I'm not moving him.
You're not moving him up? Not moving him
No,
down?
I want to move him up, and I think everyone would expect me to move him up, which is why I'm not. The only reason I'm going to not move him up, the only reason...
Have you got a temperature? Have you got a temperature?
The only reason I'm not moving him up... Well, 2 reasons. One, I don't want a restraining order. No, main reason is he's had too many suspensions. He's had too many suspensions. He's 6-game ban at the start of the season, obviously, and then he got sent off again. And yeah, he's just had too many suspensions for him to be in the absolute Don, because the absolute Don is you done everything perfectly, and he didn't because he got a few suspensions. But listen, he's unbelievable. And when he plays, is there a midfielder in that league that I'd have swapped him for? Absolutely not. What a player.
Love him.
He's a Premier League midfielder. Yeah. Premier League midfielder.
So is there a standout moment for you?
Which picture that I had with him did I like the best?
Yeah, which of is it like Alan Partridge, that episode of Partridge? He walks into that room and it's just everywhere.
I'm gonna go. I was gonna go his goal, but that was I was at Huddersfield where he got his goal. I think it was at Huddersfield where he kind of poked it in.
Can't remember.
Do you not remember it? I think it was Huddersfield.
What, at home?
No way. He only got 1 goal.
Oh yeah.
Huddersfield,
I remember. Yeah, with his left foot.
Yeah.
Swept it. Yeah.
Just before I was going down, I think. Cheers, Jeff. But I'm actually going to go for, because I've got to, the local man is promoted T-shirt and his tweets and just all that moment. I just thought, yeah, he's been waiting for that. So yeah, that's going to be it for me. I think that's going to be my moment of the season. But you could say virtually any game that he played, because he never let us down. Stupid question, so we'll keep it brief. What next? Keep essential player. Excellent. Right, next we'll move on to a certain... Now, this one, Jordan Zamora, another player that we never really thought was going to be utilised as much as they were. But then they were. I mean, that first game against West Brom, he looked a bit shaky early doors, but then he grew into the match, but then he grew into the season. And I love the guy. I love the guy. Love him.
Like him and Jaden, love him.
I think I'd probably put him baller. I think. I would have thought. I'd be surprised if I didn't put him in baller.
You put him in baller.
Yeah, he's going up.
He's going up.
Mate, he's got to go up.
He's going up to the absolute Don.
For the fact that...
I love this.
I think for the fact that, don't get me wrong, not only has he been brilliant, he scored goals, he's got assists, he's defended well, he's done everything perfectly for his first season as a professional. Unbelievable.
I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy.
The reason I'm putting him in Don, the main reason that made him tip up for me is how noticeable it was when he wasn't there. I mean, I don't think Leif Davis is a bad footballer.
No.
I don't think Robbie Brady clearly shown he's not a bad footballer. Smithy at left back, not bad at left back. But we were just, when Zamora was back, thank God for that. And
when he came back after injury as well,
it's unbelievable.
It's like he's never away.
I know, it was unbelievable. He just straight away was incredible. And as I say, the fact that, like you mentioned, from that West Brom game to think we'd be so craving him to come back is credit to him, mate. And what a character as well. And yeah, I love Jay-Z. He's got to be in the Don for me.
And he smells divine.
Does he? Oh yeah, you said that, didn't you?
That fragrance, it's like Joe Malone. I thought they did candles. Turns out they do fragrances as well. Unbelievable. Have you got a moment of the season for him?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the game. Was it Barnsley at home when he scored
2?
Yeah, but it was that run.
Yeah.
And the goal was it the third goal?
That was when his family came on to fan camps. His brother and like loads.
Which is also goes in tie with that as a moment. But that goal. That's when you thought, Jesus, he's a player.
I thought in the Millwall match he did a run that was very similar, and I thought he's going to finish this, but then he squared it across. But
little shout out, by the way, that probably don't get talked about enough. The game, Forest.
Yeah.
He won that free kick from a driving run.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
And what a driving run that was. And that will always get forgotten a little bit.
I thought at some point he was going to hit it with his right, but then he just kept on going across. And
he's so good at drawing defenders in as well.
Yeah. He's got this low centre of gravity that you just like a little kind of slight feign and like defender's just gone one way.
And who also does that? Adam Smith. So both our fullbacks, and I think what I like about him is if he had to play left midfield in a game, or do you know what I mean, he'd do a job.
whack him in there.
Love him, but yeah, I'm going to go for the Barnsley one because I just thought that was an incredible goal. But yeah.
What next for him? He's an essential player, is he?
Yeah, he's an essential player for me. I think we probably get cover.
Yeah.
We need more cover. We don't want Smith to have to be relied on there if anything happened to Jay-Z or a dip in form. But he starts the season as our main left back, 100%.
Excellent. Okay, good stuff. All right. Next we got Junior Stanislas, a player that's not really featured that much, but you did put him in a category that wasn't hard to judge.
Was he in room for improvement or?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, you got all of that.
little Pidey. Little. Look at that. Ah, beautiful.
Right, you see that?
This is like David Attenborough.
Yeah, look at that.
And there, the little yellow spider. Right.
Hopefully he's not injured.
Yes. Room for improvement. That's what you put him. But
Okay.
I mean, okay. I'm gonna cut to the chase. My moment of the season, apart from seeing tweets from people like just ironically laughing or whatever, is the delivery for
QPR.
Dom Solanke's header at QPR.
Yeah. That's
He come on and he just he sent it in, and that was a decent cross, a bit of power. Dom Solanke didn't have to generate any of his own power, just guided it into the right place. I thought that was really good. But you know what? He's a player that I just don't know. Like, people in higher places in the club will be knowing how much kind of we spend on his wages for him not to.
He's got another year.
Play. He's got another year. I mean, where are we going to put him on the tier list? Firstly,
What I feel's difficult is I love him, but I don't want to put in the sentimental side of it. This season he's been given a 2-year deal. I'm pretty sure that his moment of the season, we just said, the QPR one, which is the same for me, was his only assist. It's his first season, I think, at Bournemouth he hadn't scored.
yeah,
I don't want to do it, but I think we've got to be fair. Come on, really.
yeah,
He hasn't done anything, mate.
no, all right, and
And I do feel for him. He don't want to be injured.
no.
He doesn't let us down when he plays, but it's just like, oh, come on, June. Bless him.
With that in mind, then, what do we do next?
We ain't going to have a choice. So in my opinion, this ain't on the tier. I'm just so everyone knows, we ain't going to have a choice. He's got another year. No one's taking him.
Yeah.
For money.
No.
No one's taking him. You ain't even going to take him on loan because you're going to go, well, he ain't going to play, which is a real shame. But obviously, I think we should move him on. But he's going to be here, so we're just going to have to keep him in one for the squad and hope when he is fit, he can maybe... at the end of the day, if he is fit and you have him on the bench, last 10 minutes, you think, oh, he might whip a ball in.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go on that. But I think he'll probably see out his contract there for another year. And then I think we might have an early retirement for June, which is really sad. But I think he's going to know that his body's let him down a little bit. But great servant to the club, whatever. But yeah, whether he plays any more minutes, mate, I'm not sure.
Okay. Next, Leif Davis.
Where would I have put him? Room for improvement?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Room for improvement.
I'm just going to keep him there.
Yeah, we'll keep him there. We'll go straight on to his moment, and my moment for me was Swansea.
Yep.
That in second half, the cross for Dom Solanke, which was a really good goal. Like, he barely even looked up, but just swung it into the box, and Dom Solanke, great volley. That was my moment of the season for him. I feel for him because his first appearance, or one of his first appearances, was playing right wing.
Yeah, true.
At Birmingham, didn't really get as many minutes as what he would have wanted, but in terms of where he moves to, just keep him there?
I'm keeping him there because I think you look at the players that he's there with at the moment, Pearson, Marcon and STACEY. I also had the same sort of thing. They did have a chance to grab the shirt. Zamora went to Africa for the AFCON. Zamora had injuries. Leif Davis played enough. He did play enough, and he didn't... I'm not saying he was awful, but did he do enough to go, Jay-Z can't get back in? No. He didn't. Again, similar with Jack Stacey. Really weird, actually. I'm thinking about it now. I think both their best performances were against Swansea. Yeah. At home, where we went to wing backs. Yeah. So are they both wing backs? Maybe. Both of them, I feel, are similar. Just that. Down either side. Both of them, I don't feel, are Scott Parker full-backs.
No.
He was okay for the squad, but he didn't do what I thought he'd do. I probably thought he'd be our starting left-back, or at least really make it difficult with Jay-Z, and he didn't do that. But equally, Jay-Z deserves all the credit for that.
I'm crap with the names of the pieces in chess, but you know the ones at the very... do you play chess?
Yeah.
Like the ones that look like castles.
Is it the rooks?
Could be. Like, they just move like that.
Yeah, it's rooks.
Where, like, he's like a rook.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Jay-Z's like the
Bishop.
queen. the Queen. He
Queen,
can move anywhere.
Yeah.
He can move anywhere.
Yeah.
And I find that when you've got Jay-Z, it is like your M&S compared to your, I don't want to say Lidl, but like your sort of Asda or whatever.
Tell you what, Lidl does some deals, mate.
Yeah, Asda.
Yeah.
Should have said that.
He done okay. It was a no-brainer. He was on loan. It wouldn't have cost us a lot. He was there for the squad if we needed him. Didn't massively let us down.
Yeah.
But what wasn't quite as good as I thought he'd be.
What next for him?
Go. Is he gone?
Yeah, probably time to move on.
Yeah, I think what's weird is I think
we're not gonna.
No, but I think we can have him for like $1 million.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, would he be tempted for the squad? But no, I don't think so. It depends what he's done behind the scenes. But I think Parker's shown that he doesn't feel like he can give him that responsibility. There's been time. As soon as you move Adam Smith to left back, when you've got your left back out, when you've got left backs available, says a lot. So yeah, I think it's time to move on for him. If Leeds were to go down, we're recording this before it's been official of who goes down. He may get some minutes for Leeds in the champ. I still think he maybe could do a job in the champ. But if not, then he'll go. He needs to go somewhere and play because he's still young.
Yeah, brilliant. And finally, I hear you cry. We're splitting this into 2 parts. There's a reason to subscribe, isn't it? So, finally, on this episode, you'll notice we've been doing it in alphabetical order. All the new signings will come at the end, okay? So, the joys of James Hill, Kiefer Moore, Nat Phillips, etc. Sariki Dembele. They're all coming up later in the show. So, we're going to finish off with Lewis Cook.
Oh, this has got to be a change in the season.
Yeah.
Where would I have put him? I'm trying to think how many minutes he would have played. Would he have been in solid? No, is he room for improvement?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. So he must have watched. And I said room for improvement. He went, all right then, Tom. No worries, baller.
We know you watch.
Baller.
He's gone up two categories. That's probably one of the only players that will do that.
And I'll tell you what, he might not have got player of the season, but he'll be delighted with that. He's gone up 2 categories.
And had he had that second half of the season, in the first half, he'd be the absolute don.
Yeah, and I don't think it's all his fault. I think he was playing in a role that didn't suit him, and he
bit further up.
He was trying to be box to box. He never was awful, but you just thought he's not getting the best out of Lewis Cook. When Scott decided to move him into that role and kind of move Lerma a bit further forward, it just worked, and he was unbelievable that second half of the season.
I love him, mate. I love him. I think he's brilliant.
And I think me and you...
He's got better.
Yeah, I think we discussed off the pod once. This is start of the season. Who's a player that we feel like everyone hypes up and we think, oh God, they're so overrated. And I remember me and you saying, Lewis Cook, he's not that good. And now we've both gone, bloody hell, in that role, he's ridiculous. And I think, I'm so grateful. I think Scott Parker said when he came in, he saw him as a goal-scoring midfielder.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where he got that from, but I'm so glad that he's kind of eaten his words and gone, I'll put him in the role that he's bloody good at.
But ironically, one of my moments is the goal that he scored against Bristol City. From keeper should have done better, but he took a shot from range and it went in, and he set us on the way to a crucial win at the time. Have you got a moment?
I mean, it's probably that, because I think he's another one that he's just been, that second half of the season, just been great in every game. So there's probably been a game where he was unplayed. But he seems like he had about 3 or 4 in a row of like man of the match performances.
Yeah.
So that as a whole, but like you say, first thing that comes to mind is he got that goal from distance. It was quite a key goal as well. Was it the equaliser?
Yeah, I think it was.
Or put us ahead. It was
2-1. Yeah, I think he might put us ahead actually.
It was a crucial goal anyway, wasn't it? And it was a good hit, and it was just like that relief on his face when he scored as well. So but yeah, just delighted to see him playing, mate, and not picking up another injury, because that's always been a problem for him. But brilliant second half of the season.
Okay, superb stuff. And whereabouts do you think he will be next season at AFC Bournemouth? I'm sure as one for the squad or an essential player?
Essential for me.
Agreed.
Essential, and it's his shirt to lose. I think when we say an essential player, we're saying players that have got to start the season as one of our main men. If they don't perform, they might lose it, but he's going to start the season as an essential player for me.
Okay, so there we go. We are halfway through. You can see how the tier list is looking on screen right now. Are there any players in the next episode that you're really looking forward to doing, mate?
I mean, I'd be interested to do the signings that we've had since, because I've got no preconceived stuff, and obviously, looking forward to seeing our stuff. Even in my head now, I'm thinking, you got your Christies, you got your Billings, you got your Kellys. They're all quite difficult. So looking forward to diving into them. I'm pretty happy. I'm surprised at how well I've remembered.
Yeah, no,
but I've got a few wrong in there.
So there we go. That's part 1 of the definitive player assessment for 21-22. 2022 season. Look, on back of the net, mate, we've come up with our content plan, mate, and oh my God, we're going to be busy over the summer. There's a brand new website that's being launched. We've got various top 10 videos that are going to be on the way. We've got our away day fans guide that's going to be updated. We're going to be talking about every single club. We're going to be doing fixture release show live. We're going to be doing the kit release day. We're going to be, first out the club shop with our bag full of the 3 kits, and we've got a load of interviews and all sorts of goodness for you. You know what? We love doing what we do, and if you want to be part of it, just hit that subscribe button. We truly appreciate it.
We'll be getting an OnlyFans next, mate. I don't know.
I'll put you on it.
Yeah. If you want to, just let us know who you want on there. I'm really looking forward to it. It's weird because you think end of the season, it's all a bit dry now. And then you think about it and you go, there's loads of shows we can do.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to it. And if there's any shows that you think pre-season or going into next season, you think, that'd be a good one for them to pick at, let us know in the comments.
And look, every single game this season, and we'll do it again next season with previews, free-for-alls, match day vlog, the return of the weekly second look, a brand new weekly free-for-all where you can get involved all around the world, the Premier League show, the away day review show. Oh my God, there's so much to look forward to, mate. I can't wait.
Buzzing for it, mate. Absolutely buzzing for it. Top flight. And we've not done this kind of the way the channel's come on and that. We've not covered us really in the Premier League in this much depth. So I'm really looking forward to it, mate. And meeting new people from other clubs as well. And go to Yates in Southampton.
Cannot wait. We'll be back in a couple of days with part 2. Stay tuned. But until the next one, have a good weekend. Up the Ches.
Bye.
Bye.